Let's talk a little bit about the budget deficit. President Obama inherited a $1.2 trillion deficit from George W. Bush. This, of course, comes from him cutting taxes on the rich, doing deregulation, starting 2 wars. Never in history has somebody cut taxes while they sent the country to war. And then you mix the recession in on top of that, and it was just gigantic budget deficits, $1.2 trillion worth. And the final number now for 2013, okay, so years removed from the disaster that is George W. Bush, the deficit has now decreased to $680 billion. That's a 37% decrease from the previous year and almost cut in half from the Bush years. Now, also, Republicans are celebrating about this, but they're also celebrating because the United States hit a record budget surplus for the month of December, a surplus of $53 billion. So again, I mean, you cannot contain the Bill O'Reillys of the world. Oh my God, the libertarians are doing cartwheels. These guys care so deeply. They're such deficit hawks. So let me go ahead. I want to give you a couple quotes here. This is Fox News celebrating. Yeah, that's right. They're not celebrating at all. Nobody is mentioning the budget deficit. Because if you actually talked about it, you'd have to say, yeah, these big, bad tax and spend liberals are actually more fiscally responsible than the Republicans. So I guess we're totally full of shit here. I guess that's what's really going on. Now, what they'll do instead is they will focus on the national debt. Keep in mind, the budget deficit and the national debt are separate things. The deficit is for every year. The debt is everything, tallied up since the frickin' founding of the nation. And the national debt, very few people know this, but nobody on TV knows what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to the national debt. Seriously, I haven't seen any commentator, left or right, nowhere on the spectrum that knows anything about this. So that number is 17 trillion, and people they just use that as an argument and they shut up. As if all you need to do is say those words and that's it. Really? Obama's a good president? $17 trillion debt. Did I win the debate? Is that it? Can I just say that and that's it? No, you can't, because that doesn't mean anything. So let me explain what's going on here. What they don't tell you is that every fully sovereign country on earth has a national debt. Every single one has a national debt. Don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself. I think the only ones that don't are like Liechtenstein or Liechtenstein, however you pronounce it, and Palau, which roughly 4 people in the world know where it is. And again, the reason why they don't actually have one is because they have a different type of weird sovereignty issue that other places don't have. So how many years in U.S. history have we not had a national debt? Now, when you listen to Fox News, these guys present it as if, well, God damn it, George W. Bush had a surplus, never even had a national debt, and then Obama came in, boom, 17 trillion. No, that's not true. In fact, we haven't, not even for a single year, did we not have a national debt in the U.S. And also, the best measure of your debt is not that raw number as a nation. The best measure of your debt is what percentage of GDP is the debt. Now, ours is about 106%. That's not bad at all. I mean, just to give you a couple of examples here, Ireland's debt, 1,008%. Hong Kong, 334%. Luxembourg, 3,443%. We're only 106. So you have to take everything in perspective. You have to actually learn about these things before you talk about them and fearmonger about them. And also, I should mention, if you're somebody who believes in capitalism, as, of course, all the conservative Republicans say they do, right? Well, then you have to admit that national debt is the lifeblood of capitalism.